Hello, my name is Yuval Bloomberg. I lived, work, and travel in East Asian countries. I have a lot of passion and desire to this area of the world. If you travel to India, so I think, or Nepal, I think one of the first thing you could notice is the huge variety of gods, sculptures, a lot of activities, festivals, and ceremonies around these gods. I think that when it's the first time for you to experience this is something which is overwhelming. Definitely overwhelming. So many gods, so much of activity, so many colors, food, a lot of things. So for me, as a Jewish Israeli and someone who grew up as Orthodox, this was something which is, and I'm going to talk very frankly, this is something which consider as, at least the beginning, it was bizarre to see all of this, because this is like, this is idolatry. And monotheism in Judaism was the first monotheistic religion. The monotheism is completely against idolatry. And one of the first stories about Abraham, the founder of the Judaism, is a story about his father that has a shop for sculptures. So his father one day told him, Abraham, I'm going to the market, please stay in the shop and keep on the sculptures, sell anything if you have the opportunity, and I'll be back in the evening. So Abraham didn't believe in these idols. He ruined everything. And when his father came back from the market, he saw everything. He asked Abraham, what have you done? So Abraham told him, I just gave them food. And they started to argue about the food, and then they hit each other, and this is the result. So his father told him, well, are you trying to fool me? Of course they cannot do it, so why you are lying to me? So Abraham told him, listen to what you are telling me. They cannot do it, they cannot do anything, so why you are worshipping them? And this is the atmosphere I grew up with. This is one of the worst thing to do, idolatry. Still, I came, when I visited first India and Nepal, I was not religious anymore. And I came and saw it with very open mind, tried to learn, to hear the stories, to understand what it's all about, and try to figure out what is it. I admit, it took me time to figure out and in a way to accept it. It's not easy for someone, again, that coming from monotheistic religion, and even if you are complete secular, that atheist, to see this kind of activities around the sculptures, around this idolatry, because you are trying to figure out what is the story. I mean, what do you expect that will happen when you are praying to a stone or to wood or to something like this? But over time, first of all, I learned that this idolatry has the abstract aspect. The abstract aspect of this is in a way similar to monotheism, is the Brahman. The Brahman that is the one, is the creator of everything. And all the rest of the gods, which some numbers talking about 330 million, and the other number like 36 million, it's like incarnation of the one God that created everything. So this is in terms of abstraction. Now, each religious eventually have this kind of abstraction belief, and they have the practical side, which eventually give people something to touch, something to feel. And you can find this in Judaism. I guess you can find this in Islam as well. You can find it in any place that there is abstracted belief. So eventually people need to touch something. In Judaism, it's forbidden to touch stones or to touch wood or to worship them, but there are other ways of simplifying the abstracted belief. Now, But this is, I think, I treat this as the secondary parameter. For me, the most important parameter eventually is to look on the people who are worshipping the gods. What is the actual result of their activity? I mean, how are they? Do they have patience for other people? Are the real liberals, meaning like, can they bear other people near them, people with different belief? Can they live peacefully with their neighbors? I think eventually this is the real question and the most important question about your belief. And I must say I found that Hinduism teach people, maybe not in purpose, but teach people to live peacefully with any other person on earth. Why? Because if you are worshipping Shiva, or you're worshipping Vishnu, or you're worshipping Kali, or Durga, or Ganesh, or Brahman, or a Devi, or any other god or a goddess, you worshipping them, you live peacefully with other people that are not worshipping exactly the same God that you are worshipping. This is how you grow with built-in patience for other religions. And you cannot say the same, definitely not on Islam, which cannot tolerate any different religion near them. And it's the same with any other monotheistic religion. So Judaism, Jews will never go to murder or kill other people, but still, if you go to the ultra-Orthodox in Israel, they are not the greatest liberal on earth. I mean, if I take a group of Hinduistic people and I take a group of ultra-Orthodox in Israel, Jewish ultra-Orthodox, so with no question, the Hinduist people will have more tolerance and patience to other people's belief. And for me, this is something which I think it's the most important thing. How do you treat the society around you? How do you treat other people? How do you behave to other people? And it doesn't affect only your family. It affects the relationships between countries as well. So who care exactly what do you worship in the final result or the outcome of your religious is suffering for other people. So who care if this is something sophisticated or if it's something that it seems to be better to believe? Who care about it? I mean, it doesn't make sense to care about it because eventually we should care about the end result of the belief. And if the end result it's more peaceful society, it's more patient, it's more tolerance to other people. So I prefer this kind of religion that lead to this result, because I see this as more important, the results of your belief and not the actual results. So this became to be, I think, my main differentiator. And during the time, I think I learned how to enjoy the stories of Hindu gods. Definitely to respect this belief, and most of all to honor and respect the outcome of this belief, which express itself in tolerance society, and the society that you can live peacefully with other people that are not sharing the same belief as you. Now, I'm not naive. I'm familiar with India history, the clashes, the tension with the Islam. But this, my opinion, I do not connect this with the Hinduism, I connect this with Islam. Because everywhere you have Islam, you have tension, you have people who have to fight for their own belief in order to survive. You can see this with the Christians, you can see this with Jews, and you can see this with Hinduism. You will see this everywhere around the world. This is not something unique for Hinduism. I do not expect Hinduism or Hinduist people to sacrifice their belief or sacrifice their security, their safety, their life for other religions that claim to be superior on them. I do not. I mean, they don't have to be You can be very tolerant people, but it doesn't mean you have to be stupid. It doesn't mean you have to be ignorant about your future, about your values, about your society. You have to fight for yourself, you have to fight for your society, and you have to keep it. So, nevertheless, considering the last 70 years, or maybe should I say, considering the last 100 years of history with the Mughal rulers in India, I think eventually Hinduist society is very tolerant society, and I think the Hindu gods and everything around it, the worshipping, the ceremonies, the holidays, the whole culture around Hindu gods eventually educated the Indian society to become more tolerant to other people. So I see a lot of value in Hindu gods and this way of living, and on this base I think there is a lot of good relations between Israel and India, and for me as a Jewish with Hinduist people. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed, hit the bell for more videos like this. See you in the next video.